So with this Point Hunter build, it will be based around a certain exotic, that being Omnilocus. Now, what this exotic does, if you've been living under the rock for how many seasons, then yeah, you know this exotic's pretty good. So, its exotic perk is Beyond the Veil. You gain a second smoke bomb charge and have damage resistance while invisible. Now this resistance is times 4 when you go invisible, and it will make your allies invisible. So when you make any ally invisible, they gain damage resistance while invisible, so yeah, that's how they do that. And you gain melee energy. Now, when you see in the background I'm doing GMs, as you will see as this video goes on, when I go in Fizz with at least 2 people for the GMs, it theoretically just gives me that charge back, which is dumb and just makes this ridiculous, and hence why this build is more heavily focused into mobility and strength, just to get those cooldowns back a lot faster, so you can just spam this. The reason why high mobility is we want to go with a certain dodge, mainly Gambler's Dodge, as so you can get your melee energy back instantly. So yeah, you can go for maximum dodge, but if you want just to get that, if you want to do a Gambler's Dodge near enemies and you need to pick up a res, it's probably more valuable if you don't have a melee charge, and it's probably more better. So Gambler's Dodge is probably the way to go. So with like weapons with this build, this just depends on what the scenario is and all that, as there's no set weapons to use, so you can theoretically use anything. If you have like anything with at least a void weapon in it, use that, as this will synergize with volatile rounds for this build or anything void related. So at least have one void weapon in that, if that be your main kinetic one, say at least. For aspects for this build, the 2 main ones you'll be using is Vanishing Step. Your dodge makes you invisible, makes sense, and it's pretty good if you need to pick up allies. So yep. And Trapper's Ambush. So this will activate Quickfall, and it will use your melee energy. This is really good, as when you hit the ground, it'll do a large smoke ground on impact, which have an area effect, and if allies are near it, it will make them invisible, which is great. And this will also use your smoke grenade up, so take that in mind for that. So yeah, Trapper's Ambush is really good for that, as you can just quickly do it, and there you go. So if you're running an Omnicus solid piece, you're best going for that for this. So for fragments of this build, there's a few key ones I would use for this. Echo Explosion. It's a really nice one to have. It gives you +10 in intellect, which is just a nice little thing overall. And your fall abilities, final blows, cause attacks to explode. This is more beneficial if you're using either Vortex Grenade or your Shadow Shot, as if you get kills within that, you just explode, and it will just explode all the ads in that area, which is really nice, especially in GMs when you need to kill weaker mobs off quite quickly. Echo Salvation. Picking up Void Breach or an Orb of Power grants Devour. Now, if you know of Devour, this is mainly a Warlock ability, as they can proc it all the time. With obviously when Void VPO come out in Witch Queen, which is probably like a year ago, over that, say at least, it has made Echo Salvation look really good, as Devour on Hunter is just ridiculous. I'll say that at least. As if you don't know what Devour is, final blows restore you to full health and grant grenade energy and extends Devour. So yeah, killing stuff, spamming that Vortex Grenade, and if you have weakened Echo Undermining, which this build does, you just weaken every target on the field, which is dumb, and I love it. This makes this just so ad control build, and it's just ridiculous, and just makes it so good for support as well. And you just need a weakened target and all that, especially if you don't have someone, if you don't have a div or anything. And I'll say one thing, have a div for GMs once 100%, as div is just ridiculous with all like the builds you got going on now, doing crazy damage. Yeah, go for that. And the last fragment is Echo of Persistence. So this buffs your invisibility, overshields, and devour, which will have an increased duration, cost of 10 mobility, but that's fine. This is just really good, especially this invisibility, which will last for 8 seconds, 9 seconds, something like that. So yeah, it's great for that overall, as invis is just crucial, especially in GMs where you need to move to places and all that. If it's a too hostile area, just get out of dodge, especially if you're doing quick fall for the resistance and invisibility as well for your teammates and for you. Just great overall to use. Now for the artifacts. There's some key factors, the ones you want to use for this build. The ones you really want to use or focus into is Unto the Breach. Defeating a void debuff target creates a void breach while your void subclass equips. This is like anything weakening, suppress, that sort of weakening effect, which is just great overall. And obviously void breaches will count as your devour, so yes, this is the must. Protective breach, picking up void breach gives you overshield or refreshes your existing overshield. This is just a plus dub. It's just really good and great overall. This is just one out there. Counter charge, gain a stack of armor charges when you stun a champion. Just nice, niche thing overall. Supernova, picking up void breach causes your next source of void damage to create a large weakening pulse. Really good. If you can generate void breaches often, this is just great, especially in GMs if you've got a scout rifle in general, as obviously scouts are overload this season. Obviously I haven't got selected because I was doing some trace rifle stuff, but yeah, it's just really good and it's beneficial overall, so that's a must. And squad goals. So with this one we mainly focus on performing the finisher while your Devour grants Devour to nearby allies when your voice subclass script. This can get insane, especially with them getting health back, getting grenades back. It's just ridiculous, and I love this artifact. These main four artifacts are just good. So get like these if you're focusing onto a void build in general. It doesn't even have to be hunter. It could be warlock, titan. Those four are crucial. Go for them, especially if you're going to do authorized mods void, if that's a must, or even like the technical siphons. Do that as well. It's a must. I would highly recommend it. Do not look over those. Choose them. Oh God. So with that in mind, let's get into the mods. So the mods, it just really depends on what you're using for weapons, realistically. So siphons could be whatever weapons you're using at the time. For this instance, I have got kinetic and void siphons because I'm using arbalist and scout rifle, and heavy ammo finder, just really nice. But if you've got someone who's got Aeon Swifts, then you don't really need it as much, but it's just still nice. For arms, fastball, firepower, and bolstering detonation, just nice. Once over for grenades, and you can even get a kill grenade. At least you get all power for it, so just nice overall. Especially fastball, just throw it further. Nice. Bolstering detonation, grants class ability energy when you cause damage with grenade. Just nice overall. So for chest piece, mainly for the resistant mods, as there's a lot of arc and like void this season for GMs, maybe a bit solo as well. Nice to have either one or heavy focus on one if it's one one more base arc, one more base void, and then like a cluster dampener or a sniper. It's just more unless depending on which one's more heavy on. It's the same thing goes there. For the boots, 3 siphons, or say surges, of the weapons you're primarily using. So, for example, void weapon surges, 3 of those, just nice overall. So, yeah, that's what I would use. Then, for the cloak, 2 time dilations, as that will extend an hour times longer, and it's quite significant. Even if it's a couple seconds means a lot in the battle, especially in GM. So, yep. And then powerful attraction. This is nice, especially if you just need to dodge in that area and not want to go directly to the orb. You can just automatically pick it up your class ability. So that's just a nice little niche overall. So yeah, with that being said, that's really the build. Especially like we're saying with weapons, it's more of like user's choice and what are you using for GMs, as certain GMs you have to go this route or you have to go that route, or what is your teammates going, so it just really depends on what you're using. I would say still recommend a void weapon if you're going to do anything volatile wise. Atlas is a good recommendation for weapons as it's just one of the better anti-barrier stopping weapons in the game. Conditional Fatalities are also another nice one, as the ability obviously to stun unstoppables with it, and it's just pure damage, this weapon. Wish Ender's of a great anti-barrier weapon for bird wise. Well, Monarch's great for Overload, so yep. And even like LFR, especially Brian's Contempt, it's just really good. Rockets are good, but have more chance of dying, and with Resis being limited, it's not worth the risk. So the LFRs are probably more dominant for this. Brian's Contempt is just a really good one overall, especially if you can get a God Roll one for that. But yeah, that is the build for this Void Hunter Omnicolorless chest armor exotic. If I butcher the name of that exotic, let me just in the comments below, just roast me. Because I've definitely said this wrong countless of times, but hey, that's the fun of it. So yeah, if you do enjoy the video, like, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next. So yeah, I will see you guys later.